In this section, let's explore how you can use special features in Sora to support your English language learners and your students with special needs. Let's start by taking a look at the general settings in Sora to see how your students can change the display to make it easier to navigate the platform. In Sora, to find the general settings, go to the upper right corner and click on the hamburger menu. And there you'll find General Settings. One thing students can do is change the navigation and display language. For example, I'll change this from English to Spanish. That won't change the language of the books or the audiobooks that they have checked out, but it does change the language of the display and navigation. From the general settings, students can also change the font of the display to the dyslexic font, which may be beneficial to some students. They can also change the display to high contrast, which may be supportive of students with visual impairments. Next, let's take a look at some features of eBooks that can support students, including text size and line spacing that can be increased, how to customize the font, including the open dyslexic font, and how to change the background settings to settings that can potentially support students with visual impairments. So first, let's take a look at how to adjust the text size and line spacing. For a lot of students, the amount of text on this page would be visually overwhelming. So first we click in the center of the page, and then we're able to view the reading settings. So we click on that hamburger menu, go down to reading settings, and here we can adjust that text scale by sliding it. By clicking on the button for including accessibility sizes, we can then significantly increase both the size of the text and the spacing between the words. Second, let's go back to our reading settings. And we can further adjust the background, so the lighting can be changed from bright to sepia to dark and high contrast, which again may benefit students with visual impairments. And then finally, going back to reading settings, if you scroll down, you can also change the font, including the open dyslexic font, in which the letters are weighed more heavily on the bottom, which can be supportive of some students. And an additional feature of Sora is that once students set their reading settings, that reading setting will be the same across all of the ebooks that they read unless they make a change. Now let's take a look at one of the formats offered in Sora, Readalong eBooks. Readalong eBooks have multiple layers of comprehension support for students. They are ebooks with text that is highlighted while being read aloud and include illustrations. They're professionally narrated by actors, so no computer-generated voices. The narration speed can be decreased to facilitate listening comprehension, and there's some great research that shows that combining print and audio increases recall 40% over print alone. So let's take a look at some examples. This is an example of a read-along ebook in English and Spanish. To start the narration, I just click below.
Dogs need to be fed and walked every day. They like space to run, jump, and play. Turn the page to learn more about dogs. Remember to sing along. Los perros son de muchos colores.
To facilitate comprehension, the narration speed can be slowed down by clicking on the center of the page, then going to the hamburger menu in the upper right corner, clicking on narration, and then here I can slide the scale to slow it down. I'm going to slow this down to 0.8.
Dogs come in many colors, shapes, and sizes. People all over the world keep them as pets.
A second type of format available in Sora are audiobooks. Similar to the read-along books, audiobooks are professionally narrated by actors. The narration speed can be decreased to facilitate listening comprehension, And because students can listen and comprehend 2 grade levels above their reading level, they're a great way to improve fluency, expand vocabulary, and give students the ability to access books that their peers are reading that they might not be reading independently yet. This is an example of a Sora audiobook, and similar to read-along titles, you can also slow down the narration speed. I'll press play.
Sometimes there's a fundamental shift.
And you can either click on the clock to change the speed.
Most times, it's a bit of both. In the mid-1700s, after Cotton Mather's death, and in
Or you can click and drag down to slow it down.
the midst of his followers continuing his legacy, the new America entered what we
And finally, let's take a look at the advanced search feature in Sora that students can use to find books that support their learning. I'll be showing you how to find read-along and audiobook titles that support their listening comprehension, how to find books at specific reading levels, and how to find books in a specific language. Our collection is unique in that we have over 3,000 books in Spanish and hundreds of books in many other languages. To perform an advanced search, go to the Explore page, click in the search bar, and then you'll have the option to use Advanced Search. And you can see all of the options here. So if I'm looking for an audiobook, I would select just audiobooks here. If I want to find a read-along ebook, I would check the box here. This is where I can select different languages. So let's take a look at how many Arabic books we currently have in the collection. And here you can see we have 198 ebooks and 78 audiobooks. We'll go back and search again. And let's say, for example, I want to find a book at a specific reading level within this Lexile range. Again, I'll click search. And there are almost 5,000 books at that reading level range. So that can be a powerful tool for students to be able to find specific books that meet their needs. For example, if I have a student who needs a book in Spanish that is a read-along book and is non-fiction, our search results yield 169 titles that they have to choose from. So those are the main features in Sora for supporting our English language learners and students with special needs. If you have any questions, please reach out to Library Services at libraryhelpdesk@dpsk12.org.